Just a long lost look in your eyes brings out a love that I can't disguise. So take me down to the places I've never seen. Or don't you try to kill me with kind. It's just your love that's driving me wild. Oh, from the dawn we rise, with the heart we cry, to the light we go, into the light we go. From the darkest night, from the fire inside, into the light we go, into the light we go, to the light we go.
Welcome back, everybody. We are going to take a look at the highlights from game number 1. Started off like your normal game, KT in the lead. Turned into one of the most fun games I've ever casted. Not because it was very close, just because it was all over the place, Papa.
It was super action-packed, Valdez. It definitely wasn't one to really sit back and think about. The script wasn't great, but man, was it well enacted by the participants. It felt like the Incredibles were KT Rolster, and the ROX with some henchmen sent after score in particular in this game. Had to kill the Zac at every opportunity. SeongHwan was hitting his ults on him, but that was part of the problem. A lot of fun, though. A fun fiesta here for KT Rolster again. Waiting for that big matchup against Kingzone, which I think will be different next Wednesday. And will game 2 be more of the same? Because, like you say, while there was a lot of fun, game was kind of over 10 minutes in.
Yeah, part of what made it really fun, because KT didn't just end their lives right away. They kind of played with their food and said, okay, let's go get another Drake and then come back. That's about ult number 7 that hit score in the face from SeongHwan.
There was time for one more, Valdez. I know everyone wanted to see that Zac pay the ultimate price, held onto the ult long enough to hit him in the face.
Aimed at him. There was even Smeb like right in front of him.
I know.
Oh,
consistency is something that SeongHwan is striving for. He was consistently hitting the Zac. That's something to talk about.
Yeah.
KT roll over the ROX Tigers in 33 minutes. ROX now on a 5-match losing streak, so they need to work on that. 5 games in a row they have lost. I want to make it 6 to score. Sorry, Smeb, I should say.
Ooh.
And score on the mind, but Smeb is the MVP, pulling off on the gangplank here.
Relic Shield Gold.
Yeah, the Relic Shield Gold.
Ooh.
Couldn't actually get the quest. Game ended too early. Wasn't able to get to the 750 to unlock the quest shield, but he didn't need it. No one was killing him. They just wanted the Zac.
Surprised more Gangplanks weren't going Relic Shield earlier on, because you consider that gold plus the Kleptomancy plus, you know, Gangplank. It gets out of hand. It's pretty ridiculous.
We had a few of them in the LCK, I believe 2 or 3, but more than just Smeb. We'll see if we see more of it on the new patch, because people are still going for the Relic Shield line on the Gangplank with the ability to get the wards. So see if that continues, seeing it in other regions. Waiting for 8.2 in Korea. Last match day on 8.1, and there's one fan very happy to see Smeb pick up an MVP.
Yeah, it says on it, you know, the MVP goes to Smeb, and a bunch of hashtags. She's moving it a lot. Big Smeb fan. It's good to see fans that aren't shy, showing off their passion for their favorite players.
As we've now ticked over towards 6 p.m., we're really getting full here. The Nexon Arena, no adjustments in roster for KT Rolster, so everyone looking for the kind boy will have to look a bit more longingly for a bit longer, sadly.
All 16,000 people in Twitch chat.
There were a lot of sources.
The cries of all 16,000.
A lot of unconfirmed sources that he'd be subbing in this game. Sorry, we will not be seeing any rush in game 2.
So guys, we're gonna go to pick and ban for game number 2. Here we go. This time, KT on the blue side, looking to redo what happened in game number 1.
I wonder how much adjustment there will be in bans for either team, given that you can kind of throw out game 1 if you're KT or ROX Tigers and try something new in game 2. Vladimir and the Galio banned on blue side. Very interesting. Maybe something that Kingzone will take note is a blue side Galio ban for a team we know can play Galio mid very well is intriguing. I wonder where that will fall, where the chips will fall on the Globals and on the Galio in particular next Wednesday when they face Kingzone. Gangplank ban, so a little bit of adaptation here by the ROX Tigers. Don't want to have to deal with Lindarang trying to find a way to answer the Gangplank. And Ezreal blue side ban as well. Some of the blue side bans here, a little bit peculiar given that Deft, we already know, is a god of Ezreal. Shaping up for a first pick Kalista or SeongHwan with how the draft has gone so far.
Yeah. Spanning out a lot of the power picks you see nowadays. Perhaps they don't want to give 2 on over to the ROX Tigers. Take something like a SeongHwan first or whatever ROX does leave available for them. 2 seconds to go. They will leave the Kalista available as well as the Zoe, but this time Malzahar is not banned out.
Ryze also should be considered here at first pick, but Kalista is traditionally the strongest available champion when we see something like the SeongHwan banned away. So we'll be taking it first pick. Galio and Kalista, I would say, are right up there for first pick on blue side. Now red side draft for ROX Tigers. They looked past the Kha'Zix in game 1, tried to make the SeongHwan work. It was a resounding no. Why not go back to the Kha'Zix and try to use the fact that you're on red side to counterpick the top lane and get Lindarang rolling? That is how ROX have won most of their games, having Lindarang and SeongHwan play for top lane almost exclusively. And the Kha'Zix is a good indicator that that will be the plan in game 2.
Yeah. Also going to pick up the Kog'Maw here for Sangyoon once again. They're hovering it at least. 5 seconds to go. Just allow him to go on to the Kog'Maw, what he's comfortable on once again, and see if they can work it out this time.
It's a bit risky going Kog'Maw Kha'Zix as a first round against KT Rolster, our strongest early game team. Kog'Maw may be able to fight a 1 item, but now you've already kind of shown your hand that you're not going to have a tank jungler. You're going to have a Kha'Zix. So trying to piece together a 5-man draft that makes sense in the late game for the Kog'Maw when Kha'Zix is there is going to be difficult, and you're opting into a lot of aggressive early picks from a great early game team in KT. Look at the draft already. It's very fearsome from KT Rolster. It's a KT special. The Ryze once again. Jarvan for early impact. Almost looking too easy to put together power for KT Rolster. Waiting for ROX Tigers to throw us a curveball. They desperately need one.
What's it going to be? Maybe something new in the mid lane. I mean, there's so many power picks that are still available in mid. You got the Malzahar, you got the Azir still available. And it's just going to be the Gnar. I want to take that here early, make sure that Lindarang gets onto that pick and that it does not get banned out.
Smeb, if we follow his recent trend, will disregard lane matchup and just pick Maokai and try to initiate. And he already has fearsome initiation from his team, so may just be Maokai again for the side of KT. Not the most exciting and interactive, but ROX also have to show the respect because Smeb is certainly not a role player. Smeb can play both sides of the matchup. They respect the carry side that we haven't seen with any regularity. So Jace and probably Camille will have to be the bans here from ROX Tigers.
Yeah. ROX Tigers sticker sharing.
Oh, they're so adorable. Chibi ROX
Wow.
Tigers stickers.
It's kind of interesting. Zoe gets banned out. No Zoe here against the Ryze for Lava. Not in this game. He did have a good Zoe game amongst all the craziness of game number 1.
As I mentioned, the double ban towards the Gnar by having the Camille here as well. I wonder if we'll see an attempt to run the Corki, the quadra kill champion, the pentakill champion, I should say, for Lava. The Ryze matchup's not one of the better Corki matchups, but he kind of gets out of everything with his range and safety. Last picking for top lane. It's not going to be happening because they already have the Gnar. So support and mid lane are what they're looking for. Counter-picking support usually makes a lot of sense against Kalista. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to just lock in the Malzahar. Okay, they actually changed plans. So Malzahar into Ryze is very established as a good matchup for the Malzahar to play through. The Azir for team comp instead, and also someone who can help peel for the Kog'Maw as the game goes on. You can group as threats as Azir and Kog'Maw, so it makes some sense, even if the lane matchup isn't as good.
Yeah.
Watching KT, and, well, it's probably not going to be Maokai. Still could be. It could be Maokai Ornn here, but Waiting to see is, oh baby, the old favorite, Kalista. Kalista and Alistar will be engaged. Crazy amount of ranged engage and also committal engage. Basically everyone on KT can dunk the members of the ROX Tigers. If you're Sangyoon right now and you stare down 5 initiators, you're really concerned.
That you are. Tahm Kench would be a nice way to get out of that sticky situation, but they switched to never mind. Tahm Kench, what a troll. 0 seconds left. They flashed the Nautilus for no reason. I like the Azir pick. Try to play a little bit more passively this time. Lava having a good lane against Pawn didn't necessarily help their team in game number 1, so go with something that has had a lot of success in LCK so far, picking up the Azir.
But to make this work against so much engage, KT Rolster have God engage on their side is so tricky to pull off. The lane matchups, good for the Gnar in top side, although Ornn will be competitive. Good for the Ryze in mid lane, who traditionally does very well in the Azir matchup. Kalista, Alistar, so many aggressive options, and one Devour is not going to save 2 carries who need to be alive to put out consistent damage. We have to look at SeongHwan. If they can find a way to make Smeb die 3 times before 7 minutes, like we've seen other teams do, there's a chance. Otherwise, you fear for the lives of the carries on ROX.
Yeah. I would expect Lava to play very passively, not really trying to go for the big picks here. As you said, just trying not to die is going to be the name of the game for the ROX Tigers, whereas KT, they draft another composition that really plays towards their strengths. Just engage and be aggressive and outplay your opponents in lane and go from there.
Early game team, Kingzone or KT Rolster with Ryze is even stronger. They have so many options on how to play out the Ryze draft. It's not a terrible matchup. He doesn't need to itemize into QSS early, like with the Malzahar matchup. This team hits the mid game as expected. ROX Tigers will have to be so careful because any darkness on the map could mean 5 members of KT showing up at once.
It's a scary rift for ROX Tigers. Let's see if they can pull it together and bring us to game 3 as we go into game number 2. I feel like the studio has filled up more, but mostly with just more KT fans. Generally, the team that loses game number 1 has a very strong cheer from their fan base, but this time it was pretty similar to game 1 for ROX.
Sangyoon's keeping it festive, singing the festive songs that only Reindeer Kog'Maw can. Sadly, no Silent Night Sona to complete the musical.
No Kog'Maw.
No, happily no Kog'Maw.
I feel like I might be the only caster in Korea that likes Kog'Maw. I haven't really talked to Atlas or Achilles about it. Maybe Achilles can let you guys know in chat. I know he was there earlier.
See if the consensus on Kog'Maw can be established, because, yeah, not a huge fan of that skin. Not a huge fan of Relic Shields, but I'm also heartened by the fact that they will be a thing of the past very soon. 4 in the bot lane here. 2 dematerializers as well. Ryze almost always picks up dematerializer because of how it works in spreading his E-passive. So you can actually wave clear very strongly with that in the early game. SK Telecom T1 Easy Hoon Azir, enacted by Lava, who of course was a trainee on SK Telecom T1 support under the name Taehoon, so was a squad player but never was actually eligible to play. He was too young when he was on the squad. Score looking for a gimmicky level 2 gank.
Yeah, definitely would be quite gimmicky. I mean, you got Cleanse on Lava, so even a Flash Rune Prism wouldn't do the job. I got the update from Seth. He just texted me and he said F Kog'Maw, so I guess that clears things up.
That's strong language for the broadcast.
I know.
Killia should think about things before he says that.
Not sure if he knew it would be put onto the live broadcast. But
that's how we roll at SPO TV.
Yeah. Just gotta do it. Get it out in the open. Let it be known. Now we just need to hear from Atlas. See if he's listening.
I like how we can make it one big family here. OGN and SPO. No need to separate. We're all here.
Yeah.
For League of Legends.
A little bit smaller this year.
That's true.
Only one color caster. Papa shouldering all the work.
Papa's got to bring home the bacon. What can I say?
5 days of work, just like a normal businessman. That is Papa.
I mean, game one was just, so corporate that I'm really role-playing. Serious video gaming at all times.
Yeah. The rest of us are just your kids following you along to work.
So far, KT have had a fun time at work. Put down ROX with consummate ease in game one, but game two, it's a little bit different proposition. Very excited to see what SeongHwan will do this game. Wonder if he's going to actually play to the usual strength of ROX Tigers and play through top side. A little bit difficult to do with the Gnar pre-6, but for now it's the farming phase for the Kha'Zix.
Full clear for him, as well as the top side Rift Scuttler. Scuttle Crab, a man of many names.
Saw Dandy in the audience earlier, one of the legends of Korean jungling here. I don't know what he made of SeongHwan in game one. Probably thought he could do a number. Fans have long wanted to see Dandy back in the LCK, not since the Samsung White World Championship victory have we seen him in Korea.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely a couple of teams that can use a jungler like Dandy. SKT.
I mean, he is experienced.
Yeah. Ooh, nice little knock-up here by Smeb. Lindarang even flashing away. Got a lot of minions there, but definitely showing respect to the Ornn with very low mana and Ignite with the unsealed spellbook.
It was the Ignite part that really forced him to respect his mid lane.
Okay, gonna hop on in here. Let's see if they can burn a flash. Not quite Pawn, staying cool under pressure. By the way, we did just see that, I think it was Lava, that has picked up Gathering Storm on the side of ROX.
And that's pretty brave against KT Rolster. If you take Gathering Storm against KT and Kingzone, and you're not one of KT and Kingzone, I don't know if I'm a big fan. But
yeah.
I think it's just been a standard for Lava. We've seen him a couple of times, even over at OGN, opting into Gathering Storm most normally, so does mean that in the matchup he won't be able to punish as much, but given that this has been fairly Ryze favored in recent memory, the Scorch wasn't going to tip it over, so why not Gathering Storm, I guess, one way to look at it.
Just makes you even more oppressive in the late game as Azir. If you're up to 40 minutes, you're going to be chunking people down. So I do like it in this case.
Trying to enact red side control here as Score to decrease safety. As top lane we see an ult used just to harass Lindarang.
It's like, get the hell out of here, but actually coming over the wall was Pawn with the Realm Warp. They're really pushing him back here.
They're trying to zone him off the turret. Already down 16 CS. Just going to leave. Realm Warp was used and also the Flag and Drag, even though Jarvan could have just taken the Realm Warp. Don't know what was going on there.
Yeah.
Not the most communication between Score and Pawn that time. Spotted on a ward while he goes for a contest on the Raptors. And that means Kha'Zix is going to definitely take an interest.
Yeah.
There at least, very standard stuff. Ornn already has his first shop in, unsealed spellbook being run. Triple unsealed spellbook for KT.
5 stopwatches for KT.
Yep.
Because when you're diving, you need to go golden. They're going for the gold too.
We're at 8. I don't know if we've ever had a 9 stopwatch game. We're at 8 this game.
I think you guys did over at OGN.
The 10 stopwatch dream has never been enacted, sadly, in Korea.
Not just yet.
No change on stopwatches in 8.2. ProTV showed that on Tuesday with their I wish it was patched, but it wasn't patched.
Yeah.
Here's what's coming in a week graphic.
Yeah. Also, no Zoe changes, to the chagrin of the Twitch chat.
I gotta say, no, I can still say it. I gotta say that what I've been heartened by is that we haven't really had a fixed meta in Korea over these 3 weeks. A week and a half in, it felt like 94 minutes the dream is going to become 94 minutes the new reality.
Yeah.
And I was in a new type of hell. But from there, the meta has evolved a couple of times. You can just look at pick ban and see must ban 80 carries into 4 mid lane bans, into jungle focus. So the consensus on how to play the game is being shaped by what's working in Korea, but also teams looking to the West for inspiration, which is good to see. Pawn's just walking up.
Okay, he is able to smite here. Pawn, though, Looking for that 2-second Rune Prison, does not land it as a flash comes out of SeongHwan here. Smeb not enough mana to really chase after the Call of the Forge God.
Kind of strange there.
Normal.
Ult was a bit lazy, and the flash optimistic from Pawn. Means they don't get anything from it. Marta's being a bro, though, holding the minion wave in mid lane for his mid laner.
Has teleport ready to go, as well as Moby Boots. So we'll be seeing an Alistar sometime in the near future.
Another small meta change has been around the runes, because free boots have been de-emphasized quite a lot in Korea. I think in a lot of regions as well. Rather than 4 to 6 a game, we are seeing people just straight up buy boots, rush them like supports were doing before the free boots rune, and try to impact the map earlier. So that's another adaptation that's come through.
Yeah. Maybe if we were in a region that had more takedowns earlier on, we'd see it. So you didn't have to wait until 10 minutes into the game. Maybe just 9 minutes or 8:30. But it's not the reality we live in right now.
Trying to trade the stolen away blue buff for 2 red buffs here. A refresh and more safety for his laners. I think that's a trade up when you're against a Kha'Zix who wants to get his snowboard jungling on. That camp is denied to SeongHwan. In the bot lane, it's been a happy time for Kalista, as you'd expect, in basically every lane matchup. No changes on Kalista in 8.2. Means that Kalista meta will go forever, and because it makes supports more awesome, I must admit, I still do enjoy watching Kalista.
Yeah, I like Kalista too.
Anything that play makes, I'm usually okay with.
Yeah, I'd love to see more cannon, but... Well, okay, we have the knock-up here, trying to go onto SeongHwan. There's the first stopwatch. Pawn trying to get in here, the teleport onto the flag, first blood. Not even going to need that teleport as Pawn picking up the kill.
Yeah, Lava was a bit slow there. I thought he would have tried to ult straight away to try to push away the Jarvan, but SeongHwan goes down for free. Teleport cancelled by Smeb. They can turn this into an Infernal. Just a small skirmish win explodes the game into life after a very passive 9 minutes.
Yeah, you were talking about the importance here of SeongHwan in this game. Well, so far it hasn't been looking too good for him. He had the blue taken and he was forced to flash away, so in that fight he just he was a sitting duck underneath the Cataclysm.
I really wanted to see him do something in the bot lane earlier. So a lot goes on here, and the top lane in particular was one that he could try to swing just because Gnar does have stuns situationally in the Mega Gnar form. Instead, just largely farming, taken down, like you say, slow to his warrior enchant, still doesn't have it 11 minutes into the game. The likelihood he's going to be able to contribute in a fight when he can't peel for Azir or Kog'Maw, and he doesn't have the damage to threaten the front line of KT is a problem. They spotted this out early. They had advanced knowledge because SeongHwan saw him. By the time the ult comes through from Lava, it's not enough to push score away, so it condemns SeongHwan to death. Freebie for KT Rolster, and the most important thing they get was control over the Infernal, and they take the first spawn.
Oh, they're looking for SeongHwan again. He doesn't have his flash here. Was sitting on a control ward, which made them a bit more confident to try to go for that kill.
River control to KT, but still some aggressive warding is stuck down on the enemy blue buff by ROX Tigers. Not something they can really work with without actually putting some incremental vision into the river. And this is all without even talking about bot lane that continues to be Deft, harassing down the Kog'Maw at every opportunity.
It's okay. Kog'Maw has TP, as you do. Looking for a play here onto Lava. He doesn't have his flash either. Does have the cleanse. They're looking for a knock-up. There's that flash on in from Pawn, and just enough damage to get the kill onto Lava.
I mean, the cleanse used very early, but the moment that he was rooted into place, the EQ was not going to miss from score. They get a lot of turret damage as well. Good use of the Abyssal Voyager. It's only key coming into mid lane. They need to keep mid lane turret up. Otherwise, you're going to have Kog'Maw and an Azir without a turret. You know, you can put down a Sun turret, but it's not going to... Sand turret, but not going to be able to extend the laning phase. If Azir is pushed into his turret and can't harass down the Ryze, his function until late game is basically just pick up farm wherever he can. They have no control on the map, and then KT will really kick into high gear. So important the turret didn't fall here. Good shot calling this time between Pawn and Score. They were a bit off in the previous game, this time on point.
Just catching him in the back right after the flash rune prison. Emperor's Divide does not help at that point. And okay, SeongHwan It's about to have his flash available once again. Score has just been hanging around mid lane saying, okay, you're not going to touch pawn in this one.
And SeongHwan's kind of just a bait wherever he goes. Still no warrior in chat. I believe he has the gold, but hasn't found a shopping trip, wants to impact the map.
He still wants that control ward. He's still going for it. This guy, he puts the blinders on, man. He's like, I'm going to ult Zac 12 times in a row this game. And he really wants to get that control ward. And let's talk about this knock up here. Lindarang is not close to the Mega Gnar form. There's the Cataclysm. He cannot get away from this one. Even his flash is blown, and he still goes down.
Somehow ROX's 2 control wards are baiting them into walking into the river to their death again and again and again, using flashes and trying to get away. They've got a clear call that they want to control topside, something they weren't able to do in game 1 with a much stronger draft than they have in game 2. But it's just accelerating their own demise. 2,000 gold out of nowhere. And wherever Score has gone, he's kind of profited in every scenario.
Well, at least ROX still has the control ward at the blue. So they've not got that going on for them. They can spot the blue being taken, which they already would have known. But yeah, things really looking up once again for KT. Even Ornn getting Ornn getting in on the action.
It's kind of 3 winning lanes for KT and the enemy jungle in disarray. So early game power, whenever it's donated to KT Rolster, we'll always try to profit the most. I think we will see a battle of early game drafts between KT and Kingzone.
Oh baby, that's going to be a fun one.
If you ask me right now a preview of what to see, what I think we'll see in that series, my expectation is that KT kind of leave Smeb to the Wolves and try to, allow Khan to have his counter pick, think that he'll lose the minimum. So something like a Maokai draft, something very, very safe, and then try to win in other parts of the map and trust on Smeb's skill to get them over the line. I think that's the approach I most expect from KT, having watched all their games, whereas Kingzone's going to try to style. And speaking of styling,
yeah, they want some more kills. Spawn gets caught in the mid lane, but a couple of ROX members get caught in the bottom lane here. Sangyoon out of mana, not really much he can do. Trying to trade back some damage onto Deft, who nearly goes down to the turret. Trying to get that Kog'Maw passive, and he does get the kill in the end. Funnily enough, he now going to use his own stopwatch. Not going to work out here.
They're still turret diving, by the way.
Yeah, they're coming on into Lava, who is trying to do a bit more back on the score, but you can see even he is pretty tanky at this point.
I don't want to concern you, Valdez, but I think during that key devoured a minion. So
that's concerning.
That is pretty concerning.
You did make me pretty concerned now.
We're already concerned about SeongHwan's sanity. Now Key seems to have picked up the same affliction that took down SeongHwan's decision-making in game 1.
Yeah.
Unsure what's going on there. Teleport to the top side also. They turret dive for a long time, care of Alistar and friends. On the bot side, we'll get a replay to confirm the devour. I hope I'm wrong. It'd be much better if I was wrong.
I hope you're wrong too.
So we're going to see the Zhonya's port as wait for the W. Yep. He ate him in.
Aww.
You had one job.
Honestly, I don't think it would have saved the Kog'Maw. Might have even saved, It might have even saved Deft's life had he devoured the Kog'Maw, actually.
We're not going to be results orientated about whether you should devour a minion or your Kog'Maw. I'm not convinced ROX Tigers know what a Kog'Maw is, judging by them leaving him to the Wolves in game 1.
We've had some mixed results with Tahm Kench play. We had one of the Tahm Kenches devour a Poppy earlier on last week. I forget which team that was. Don't really want to call them out. I'm sure you guys know. Well, Smeb in a little bit of trouble here. Has a TP from one of his buddies. It actually gets canceled. He's like, okay, you're going to die anyway, so we're not going to help you here. Oh, the flash over the wall. And Sangyoon does get the kill. Okay, nicely done.
Well, the prediction on the flash wasn't there. Nice ultimate, though. Does take him down. Meanwhile, a lot of good things happening on the map for KT, taking the top lane outer turret. That'll be 3 outer turrets crashed very early into the game. Deft and Marta unleashed on the map. Always a great thing for the side of KT Rolster. Looking at this, I mean, he spent 14 seconds less time ganking and got a lot more success, Valdez. I would say that SeongHwan has a bit of a way to go to be as good as Score. Of course, he
needs a lot more years under his belt.
The KT fans of more than 1 year's duration are happy to see that. The KT fans newly minted just want to see Rush play, so a little bit upset to see Score having a great game.
I don't know if it's going to happen. especially with the top of the spring standings currently.
I need to
super
cut you
close.
off. I need to cut you off. We need the viewership of the Rush fans joining us. So why don't we?
I think we're okay.
I think we should keep those fans on the on the line, right? We don't want them to get off the line. We're being
guys, you never know.
We're being an operator here. You know, the one that has to keep you on the line for as long as possible,
Sure,
trying to upsell you on your insurance or something.
Yeah.
Who knows, right? Anything could happen.
Never give up on Rush, guys.
Rush is a very mechanically talented player.
Very kind boy, I've heard.
Score has had some struggles with his mechanics, so there's a scenario where Rush comes in and you don't want to miss it live.
Yeah. See him game 3 against King Zone.
Who knows?
I'm sure a lot of people would like to see that. All the color casters around the world scream out in terror at the same time.
Well, let's see if there's any terror around the Rift Herald. ROX Tigers at least posturing to want to fight for it, but Ornn is rolling in as well.
They're going up against a Kalista here. Okay, here comes the Ornn. They got the knock up here of Tahm Kench, and the big knock back by Vada into the Fate's Call. It's the bouncy castle, guys. Welcome back. We are going to have a couple of kills over towards Ski. Pawn, he's just delaying the time of the rest of the members. Nice little knock up there by Lindarang, trying to make things interesting. But unfortunately, not enough damage here. They will take out Deft in the end, and SeongHwan even does get away with his life for now. So trying to trade it back. KT staying in this one for a very long time. Mata looking for another knock up here. Good combo onto Lindarang, and finally Pawn able to get that one. They want another kill onto SeongHwan. Never mind, they're not going to take that Realm Warp. And, well, that was a fun one. Nice extended fight. KT take the lead.
Mata's Alistar is a one-man volleyball team. Knocking him up, spiking him down. They're looking for a contest, but that's just going to be reinforcements from ROX.
That's going to be SeongHwan getting very low, but a follow-up Devour means that he does get away with his life. Score waiting for the flag and drag here. Might be a little bit too late. There it is. And the flash lick comes in from Tahm Kench.
Well, ROX Tigers, it took 2 games, but you finally baited KT into your master plan. They thought it was a fiesta. No. ROX Tigers turned it around with a very nice Abyssal Voyage. Biggest feel-good moment of the series so far for ROX Tigers. They're also still within touching distance of the gold, so that was a big passage of play. And this man on your screen, Key, was able to clean up.
I wonder whose shot call that was. Was it Key on the respawn, trying to TP on in and then make the play happen with SeongHwan? Or perhaps someone else was telling him to go in and do that?
So you'll remember that I was shouting at people about upgrading their Ornn item too late. Ornn just upgraded his Abyssal Mask for literally no reason, Valdez. We get to watch the replay here. It started off with good news stories for KT. The good start here. Deft gets chunked out, but 2 kills roll in. The big turner here for ROX Tigers is Lindarang, who hits a really big Gnar ultimate onto 2 members as Azir is free hitting. But from this passage, Deft flashes over to his death. Witness me, he says. He flashes over the Azir ultimate into 3 people. Not as consequential as his usual flashes, but in live, we can see that ROX Tigers are still posturing up.
Yeah, they're not out of this one just yet. They're only 2,500 gold behind. Deft does get the blue buff, but again, they have the Kog'Maw, they have the Azir, they have late game scaling, gathering Storm on the Azir. There's still some potential for this ROX lineup to make things happen in the late game.
And Pawn has his super Abyssal Mask.
Wow.
He's ready to go. Really wanted more magic resist than previous game, so maybe he should get a Banshee Veil now, see how he's feeling. Set new records in MR.
Yeah, win for the Zhonya's this time. Another defensive item instead of the Banshee's Veil.
Pawn is known for leading with his face. He's very known for initiating. Not always on initiators, but he likes to be creative and aggressive, so when you're this tanky, 150 MR if you don't mind. Not so much armor though, as 2 fights are happening.
Okay, here we go. Gonna get the knockup on a Tahm Kench once again.
Sangyoon's free hitting here.
Come on in, Lava trying to get a big ultimate. Smeb getting very low. They got Kog'Maw. You were talking about the free hitting. That is a triple kill for the Kog'Maw. Now they're going for the Baron. I was talking about how ROX is not out of this game. They're making a big case for it here.
You thought I was being facetious with my next level, but ROX Tigers have finally dragged KT down to their level. They opt into a fight and don't bother to turn on to the Kog'Maw. Pawn can't get there, of course. No ability to cancel his teleport because he knew they couldn't actually clean anything up. Big win here. And consider what KT do, because they try to just take down SeongHwan. Starts off with all their CC being used. You think it's going to be a wombo, but Sangyoon is safe. Azir rolls in. Great Emperor's Divide. Once again catches Deft early in a fight. No threat onto the Kog'Maw. A triple kill for Kog. One for the Azir. A Baron buff. And now KT are behind.
You were talking about all the engage. The engage from Alistar missed. The flag and drag from Jarvan missed. And then the Ornn ultimate, the Call of the Forge God, that missed onto the Kog'Maw. And at that point, you're kind of running out of ideas, right? The Fate's Call didn't really come in there. He was way too protected in the back of the jungle. And all of a sudden, we have a switch here in the gold advantage. ROX Tigers are ahead about 1,000.
Yeah, first of the series for ROX Tigers. And they do have a comp that we didn't think would get here. KT were playing to their win conditions early in the game, but a couple of mistakes later, and you start to wonder if they were just a bit too fast and loose with some of their gameplay. Azir now has a Void Staff. Sangyoon has 3 items. It's an item ahead of Deft, if you don't mind. Massively far ahead there in the build. KT Rolster can still win a fight, but it has to be one that's executed well. Despite having the upgraded Abyssal Mask, Ryze doesn't have a lot of damage to his name. So suddenly we have to take it down a notch with the Sunday afternoon comedy and start looking at how KT get back into a game, something they will need to do against Kingzone. We don't expect it to be a flawless series for either side. There will be losses incurred. Now they find themselves behind with very strong initiation. Let's look at their vision line, see how they can regroup after giving open a pretty big lead to ROX Tigers.
They still have a ridiculous amount of vision on the right side of the map specifically, but they can't really make it work just yet.
It's useless vision. They can't go there because of the strength of ROX. It's barrel down mid lane with the Baron buff. They're looking to break the base again against the flow of the game. About 1:20 left on Baron.
Yeah. Feels like a very sobering moment for KT as they lose that big fight and the Baron, because, I mean, we have 18 kills at what? It was like 22 minutes at the end of that fight. That is not normal for LCK. It felt like KT was having a little bit too much fun in this game, and might come back to bite them. See if they can defend this push here.
No threat onto Sangyoon when he's standing next to his carry when he's 1 damage item ahead. They're going to lose their inhibitor at 25 minutes.
There we go. Taking it down. Yeah, that was only like 3 or 4 auto attacks and 1 ultimate from the Kog'Maw, and Deft just disappears.
So how do you get back into this game if you're KT now? Returning to the scene of the crime is going to be difficult, so there'll be some free farm here on the super minions. When it comes to objectives to take on the map, the Baron's still a long way away, given there's still 30 seconds duration on ROX. And consider where the gold is, because Gnar, Kha'Zix, and to some degree the Tahm Kench are very behind still. All the gold is on the carries. So fighting front to back is still possible for KT Rolster. So that's kind of the strategy they need to look for, is try to isolate the front line, bait them in, kill them, and then try to deal with what is now a super fed Kog'Maw and a safe Azir in the back line. So not much to talk about with SeongHwan and Lindarang, but it's all about Lava and Sangyoon for ROX Tigers.
Got double Black Cleaver on the Gnar and the Kha'Zix here. Help out both of them in a way. And Score almost got caught up in the jungle, but he had the Dead Man's Plate, so he got out alive just in the end. That Dead Man's Plate value. Don't really see that too often. But yeah, if they are going to get back in this one, they need to have an engage that looks not like the one we just had. They need to knock up the Kog'Maw and burst him down and not allow the Tahm Kench to get the Devour off.
Again, like, I really feel like that's already an impossible dream. Sure, it could happen. There's definitely, with how this series has gone, Yakety Sax could be enacted, but if I'm trying to make the percentage play here, Valdez, it's taking down SeongHwan and Lindarang, then reevaluating, taking down the front line, and then considering the threats. And that's not always the easy thing to do either, but it's Ghost Flash with a Tahm Kench Kog'Maw. So it's very, very hard to burst down this Kog'Maw. The SeongHwan, however...
Yeah, they want to burst down the Kha'Zix. They're trying to get him out of the fight at least. Getting quite low. Lava, though, he's got a nice position here to trade back some damage.
So what you want to see from KT is try to engineer picks like you see. Try to stop ROX from grouping as 5 and running it down a lane, because that is where they are strongest. Getting someone who's face checking to put down a ward of any kind is the way KT want to go. Because as you can see, their struggle at trying to deal with Siege is real.
That it is. We got TP, though, from behind. That ward from earlier. They're looking for an engage here onto Sangyoon. In comes Mata. Talking about that unsealed spellbook, it's being unsealed once again. He doesn't knock up the Kog'Maw, actually. Wanted to get out to SeongHwan here. Got the Kog'Maw inside, he flashes away. He's getting that free damage in the background, and KT cannot get a kill in this fight. ROX stand strong and continue the push.
Sick Fate's call timing from Deft to stop his support from going down to the Gnar ultimate. Yes, you're right, they rolled the dice, and the dice ended up with Snake Eyes. They didn't get anything from the engage there. ROX Tigers stick their very strong scenario. The biggest win that KT get is both summoners on Sangyoon. But they weren't able to pressure anything out of Key, out of Lindarang, out of SeongHwan.
Oh boy.
Lava though.
Yeah, he's got an escape here. The Realm Warp is used. They want to get the Cataclysm. There's the flash. Emperor's Divide here. Trying to get him in. He's going to try to 1v4, but will not work out. A small mistake. We'll see if it turns into something bigger.
Bit of a lazy recall when the rest of his team was a lot more ordered and respectful from Lava. We know is newer relatively to competitive play compared to a lot of the veterans in this game. Didn't need to go for that lazy recall because of the timing there, Valdez. It's when the Baron setup needs to happen. 30 seconds until that objective. He will be spawned and around the area. But the control around it is not going to be fantastic. They give away something they didn't when they were in a position of strength. Allow KT to get back in the game. And we see the throw back. After KT was so monstrously ahead, they made some, let's say, foolhardy engages, and it really allowed ROX Tigers out of nowhere to get an extra item on their Kog'Maw, and suddenly, after a bad laning phase, the Kog was online much earlier than KT could have anticipated.
Yeah, looking towards that Blade of the Rune King now with the amount of dive that happens, especially the Jarvan. If he's going to be in the face of the Kog'Maw, would be a nice target to begin to chomp down on.
So the fact that there's no flash on Kog'Maw around the Baron setup means there are some options. For the side of KT, KT's true carry here is going to be Ornn to some degree on this Ryze. He's the one who is very well farmed. 60 CS up on the enemy Azir. Went for a very tanky build, but still going to be Ryze. He's still going to be a threat to the backline. And when you look at the items here, an upgraded Abyssal Mask, 2 adaptive helms for the side of Smeb and Score. The front line can jump on Lava and Sangyoon, and they die slowly. They're still going to die. They die slowly. So I think just coming back to what I was saying, finding a way for Deft to train down Lindarang and SeongHwan while Sangyoon and Lava aren't able to actually AoE down the front line of KT is the best hope here. Because again, Kha'Zix can't do an impersonation of any of the members of KT when it comes to tankiness. And that's the only place where KT is strong. When it comes to pure damage, they're weak.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that the Kha'Zix has going for him in terms of tankiness, if you will, is the stopwatch is still available for him. Kept that the entire game somehow, some way. See if that helps him out in a future fight here. The Baron has spawned. And so far, KT have been pretty good about getting the vision down. You see Mata and Score always as a team. I talked about that Dead Man's Plate. Really helps out with getting the vision down in good areas and getting out. He's getting frisky here. He might beat Sangyoon's
got no summoners.
He's gonna double knock up here, but he's going 1v1 against Deft, and Deft disappears. Where'd he go? Sangyoon just takes him down, and KT baiting themselves. A double kill going over to ROX, and that might just be the game.
It's certainly going to be something. Jarvan.
Okay, they're gonna jump onto him too. He's in the back line all alone.
You're right. I think they're going to go for the end if they can. Bizarre series of choices by KT, all baited in. Now they're on Ryze.
Now Pawn, he's all alone. He's going to try to Realm Warp away behind. He's trying to delay this as much as possible, but at this point, you know, they don't even have to kill Pawn. Key, he wants to, but the rest of his teammates, they're going for the end.
He's trying to distract Key, but it's going to lead to ROX turning. Only 5 seconds on Kalista.
Even a flash coming
Pawn's still alive.
They really wanted to kill Pawn there. So we have the ace, but here come Deft and Mata going for the respawn. Looks like ROX Tigers still want to go for the ends here. They have a very healthy Azir. Nice little double knockup by Mata, but they have no damage on the back of it. Deft just gets chumped out by Kog'Maw on the backside. Disappears from the Azir damage. Make that 2. Score going to go down here as well. Just cataclysming at the end. This is going to be a big wake-up call for KT as ROX take game number 2.
All right, LCK scriptwriters, you pulled off a surprise on me. I did not see the capitulation by KT coming here. They were so far ahead early in the game that you baited yourself into thinking it would follow game 1 script. It didn't. a bit of overexcitedness around invading the red side jungle, donated free gold to Azir and Kog'Maw, and from there, things came together. The draft from KT looked strong. The early game plan was convincing as well, but KT Rolster do have this history of stumbling just before greatness. They did not make it to Worlds 2 years in a row. They did lose their series before the Telecom War, and they will drop a game to the ROX Tigers.
Yeah. Shout out to the ROX Tigers for keeping their head cool underneath all of the pressure from KT. They knew that people were laughing as everybody expected KT to roll over them with a 2-0, but they're like, no, we have options here. We got the Azir Kog'Maw, and right when they came online and KT kind of threw the underhanded softball pitch to them, they were like, all right, we'll catch this and roll it straight into a win.
And you can see the body language of the KT coach on screen, kind of asking the same questions that anyone would ask. How did this happen so quickly, out of nowhere, when you're in a great spot? It took 22 minutes for them to get anything. There was a 5,000 gold lead at 16 minutes. You know, we expected this to be wrapping up 2-0.
Yeah.
A long break. No long break. No wrap-up. KT Rolster do have to fight through a ROX Tigers team reinvigorated from taking down stiff opposition from KT. But KT kind of chose this fate for themselves, looking for an engage that wasn't respectful, and the Kog'Maw was the ultimate profiteer. And now we get a game 3.
See the power of the Kog'Maw in situations like this, and maybe we won't see it in game 3. We'll see if KT decides if they want to go up against that. Either way, guys, we got our short commercial break. When we come back, game 3.